previous year. I don't know if Elio's on. From yesterday's Gemara, David's on? David's far is on?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't understand. Wasn't you're there? Okay.
I'm
No,
here.
I just because it's a covered you. We and where's Elio? He's not on. Okay, but so and we said that yesterday you could be Machal Shabbos at least with a guy for Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, right? The Rambam in Sefer HaMitzvahs does not bring Yishuv Eretz Yisrael as one of the 613, but he clearly holds throughout the Mishnah Torah. It's a big hak. There's a big hak, I think. Right? Through Mishnah Torah, he holds that it is a deraisa. So it's one of those where it's a deraisa and it's not one of the 613 according to the Rambam.
How is that possible?
I'm just telling you.
I understand.
All the people who talk about that that Rambam.
Yeah. That's so they fit it into a different mitzvah. Fine, but the bottom line is the Rambam has to hold that it's a mitzvah deraisa, but it's not one of the 613. I don't know. Whatever you do, whatever you want with that. Right? Meaning it's a big enough one that you machal Shabbos for, at least with a guy, right? And it's not in the 613. Go figure. Okay, sure. Anyways, on that note, we have another interesting Gemara. There's the next couple of ladders, a shtickle vacation from Bava Kamma, but not always easy to understand these Gemaras either. So Tana Rabbanu, yeah, bottom line on Pei Amid Beis. Asara Tanayin Hisna Yeshua. Yeshua made 10 Tanayim. All right. Now we're going to see later that it's the pashtus is that he made this Tanayim when all the Yidden moved into Eretz Yisrael. He made a Tanai that you have to give in to these kulas in sharing your property. That's essentially where it comes down. That you have to be part of these 10 leniencies to share your property with others. And we're going to see weiter about whether this applied to Chutz La'aretz too. Because l'chayra, this doesn't have anything to do with the Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. Right? It just has to do with people getting along with each other. Right? So again, Tanaban, Asar Tanan Hisna Yeshua. On Tamar Aleph now. So first the Gemara says all 10, then the Gemara goes through all 10. Shayu Marian Becharshin. And this is how we got into this, because it says that you're allowed to let your animals graze in the forest, right? Because that's not going to steal from people and it's not going to ruin things. You're allowed to go gather wood in somebody else's fields. Can you just imagine? I mean, if you hold that this applies bisman hazeh chutz la'aretz, right? So all these no trespassing signs that people put on their properties, rachamim in your neighborhood usually, right? What no trespassing? You're allowed to come take wood. I mean, the Gemara is going to just clarify what it means, but that's what it's saying. You're allowed to pick grass. You're allowed to go into anybody's field.
This isn't just in Eretz Yisrael?
No, we're going to see later in the Gemara that it's not only in Eretz Yisrael. Pashtus is it's in Eretz Yisrael. Yeshua was Mesakadeh for sure in Eretz Yisrael. The question is, was he Mesakadeh in the Chutz La'aretz also? Right, so that we're going to see on Amid Beis. But yeah, the pashtus is that it was in Chutz La'aretz also. Right, Malaktim asavim b'chol makom chutz mitilson. You're allowed to go and get grass in any place except for tilson. Now, I don't understand. Okay, I don't know if I should ask my kashas. I don't want to make meshuga. But the first one is that you're allowed to graze your animals in somebody else's field. And I'm sorry, only in a forest. It's mashma that you're not allowed to graze your animals in somebody else's field, but you're allowed to go get grass out of somebody else's field in order to feed it to your animals, and the guy can't complain, right? So it does now. It sounds, this is for Zev Bold. I don't know. This sounds like the whole going into somebody else's field is not out Geneva. It's out ruining their field. So you can go in there, get the grass, bring it out to your animal. That's what Yeshua is saying. Except for a field of tilson. What do you call tilson? Fenugreek, right? One of the Simonim. There you go. Naftali's on the board. Right? That's number 3, right? You're allowed to go cut these plantings, except for olive ones, and only the bottoms of the olive ones. Again, we'll see through the Gemara when it repeats this. And if you have a stream or a spring that comes mitchila, meaning it's somebody dug up a brand new stream. Everybody's allowed to come. Everybody's allowed to come take water from there in your property. And Rashi says a culture cane, if it's an old stream, they're allowed to come into your property. Fine. And you're allowed to go fishing in Tveria, even though, as the Gemara is going to say on the base, that the Tveria, what's it called? The Kinneret, or totally the entire Kinneret belonged to Naphtali. But everybody's allowed to go fishing there, and Naphtali has no choice. But you cannot spread out any sort of
Shevet Naphtali, or
Shevet Naphtali, not to you.
Okay,
No, not you, Naphtali.
Okay.
Shevet Naphtali.
Did he really think it was him?
No, I just thought maybe he's picking a guy, for example.
He thought I'm starting up with him. He thinks I'm
Okay,
starting
fine.
up with him. Yeah, that's called he has PTSD from this daf never. What should do? Yeah, as long as he doesn't, you can't spread out these nets, because then it's gonna catch the boat, right? And the boat's gonna get caught in it. Fine. You're allowed to go to the bathroom behind the fence, even if it's a field that's full of karkum, they touch at a saffron, which can get damaged. Meaning, it doesn't mean you're going to the bathroom in somebody else's field. What it means is you're allowed to take a stone. They had those stone walls, around the property. You're allowed to take that stone out of the wall to clean yourself with, and the guy could have no complaints against you whatsoever.
You have to put it back when you finish.
And you put it, yes, we're going to see number base. Yeah. You're allowed to walk. Yeah.
You're saying because the karkum, what? Because if it's missing a stone from the wall, it could get damaged. Is that what you're saying?
But you're allowed to do it anyways. Yes.
Well, that's what you're saying. That's the That's the worry.
Yes. That's not the worry. That's the worry, and then he's saying you're allowed to do that. Right. Again, it's very hard for us to understand all this, but we'll discuss the halacha l'maisa of it and on Amud Beis. Yeah. So, anyways. The next one is, I forgot that I'm already lost track.
Yeah, it was hard for us to understand, and I think it was brachas where they wiped with rocks. We had trouble there too. So
no, that's true. With that
no,
part,
that's not.
Parents, that part is push it, but you're taking somebody else's rocks, cleaning yourself, and putting it back.
no, I understand. You see how important it is to be clean and to go to the bathroom, even if it's going to damage somebody. But using a rock to wipe yourself, that's still troubling.
Yes, that's a little tough. Yes, but that's the way it went. That's the way it went down. But anyway, then the next one is
men will men. Then parents, not just because they drank some home brewed beer didn't make them a man.
Don't give him any ideas, Rabar. I'm not trying to make himself into a man. Okay, so you're allowed to walk on the optional streets, meaning people planted things in their yards and in their fields, but they made walkways. I think it would be like walkways to walk through there, right? Meaning until it came time that the crops would get ruined if people walked through it. So up until the Revi'ah Shniya, until the
last two is one.
Which last two?
The
yeah, that's one.
And the Mahalchim B'Shvil is the same one.
No.
Yeah, they have letters
one?
G, and then the next one is H.
No, because I tell you why. Because we're going to see on Amud Beis that this one was Shlomo Melech. This is number 11, really. Okay. It's 10, right? This one's number 11. That the Gemara is going to say on Amud Beis Shlomo. I'm assuming that's why Ox will put it like that. And you go on in these paths that people allow you to walk through, but only up until the second Revi'ah, until the second rain. Once the second rain comes, the fields get too soft. If you're going to allow people to walk through there, then it's going to ruin the field. If you say this adrachim, and you can move off to the sides of the road, meaning you can drive on people's grass on their front lawn. Well, I don't even drive, but basically over the winter, just like what happens now, right? Over the winter, potholes develop, and it becomes very difficult to drive, or your animals, or whatever it is. So you have to walk around. So you're allowed to walk on people's properties. This one I found very interesting. You're walking through somebody's vineyards and you got lost. So you can just start hacking your way through the guy's vineyard till you can get out of there, right? So it can destroy the whole guy's whole vineyard because you have no sense of direction, right? Fine. And the last one is mace mitzvah kind of makam. And a mace mitzvah is kind of its place, which literally means that if you find a dead body right there, smack in the middle of your yard, you got to bury him right there and finished. Okay. So how the Gemara goes through all of them. So you Mirian Becharshin. So you're allowed to graze your animals in the forests. What he meant is you could have a small animal in a large forest, right? Avaldaka bedaka, but a small animal in a small forest, begasa begasa, and a large animal in a large forest, loy, because that's going to eat too much. The kosher gasa bedaka, and the kosher a large animal in a small forest, the loy that you're not allowed to do, right? Again, this is the next couple of days we have Gershon. We have a lot of sense of humor from this. Daka gasa, those are the two comparisons between right animal. You have the hema gasa, hema da. Here the Gemara had to use gasa as the forest, right? Just so that I don't know why they used it, but it has to be they did that lashon on purpose, right? Because normally we use daka gasa. Gasa is a cow, and like we had on yesterday's daf. Gasa is a cow, and daka is a sheep.
They call it in the vernacular. They call it poetic license.
Oh, yeah, mamish, yeah, rachamim. I'm glad I told you to come on time today. Right? It's yeah, you're right. But it's interesting that there has to be that the Gemara chooses it like that. It has to be. But anyways, fine. That's one. So malak. So basically, again, we're saying that you don't have carte blanche to go just in any forest. You can only do a small animal in a large forest. Fine. Next, two is malak and eitzim is the same. You're allowed to pick wood from their fields. Doesn't mean all wood. You can't just go chop down wood in somebody else's forest, right? You're talking about the hizmi vehigi is like the what do you call it, bushes and stuff like that, right? The small trees. You can't just go to other wood. And even in the small bushes, that's only when they're still attached to the ground. But once they're detached, you can't take it because maybe the reason why they're detached is because the owner intended to do something with it. Even if when they're detached, it's only if they're fresh, meaning they're what's it called? Not ripe. I don't know. Ripe, but if they're dry, because people might want to use it for their firewood. And another thing is that you can't cut it off, that you're going to uproot it totally so that they're not going to grow back. Because then your mom is causing the guy a major loss. So basically on this one, going to get wood in somebody else's property is a very limited application of what's allowed. It has to be a bush, attached to the ground, dried out. Not dried out, I'm sorry. Not dried out. Fine. Number three. Moist. Yeah, but there's another word for it. I don't know.
They use moist.
Yeah. You're allowed to go pick grass in any situation except for Sada Tilson. Remember the Tilsa Malula Asavim? Do you mean to say that Tilson, it's good when you're growing, what do we call it? Fenugreek. When you're growing fenugreek, it's good for the fenugreek to have grass growing with it. But a minute, I'll ask you, Stira. Tilson shall also in Minei Asavim. If you have fenugreek that's growing with other grass, you're not chayiv to be oikarit, meaning this is talking about klayim. So klayim, you're not allowed to have two types of trees growing next to two types of growth growing next to each other. Normally you have to uproot it. But we're saying that if there's grass together with the tilson, so you don't have to rip up the grass right away. Right? Yeah, so therefore, why don't you have to? Because he's going to end up doing it anyways, because the grass is going to ruin his fenugreek. Right? Normally, we're afraid if you don't, Bezdin goes around, they find clients, so normally they uproot it right away and throw it into the street. That's normally what's done by client. But we're saying when there's fenugreek together with grass, we don't force the guy to do it because we know the guy's going to pick his grass and get rid of it because otherwise it's going to ruin his fenugreek. So you see that grass is no good for it. So Rabbi Yirmiyah, like Kasha kan lezera kan lezirin. So one is talking about where the fenugreek is, you're trying to grow fenugreek seeds, and one is where you're trying to grow fenugreek branches. Lezera kashula asavim. But for the seeds, grass is no good for it. Because it makes it weak. Lazira and Mailula, but for Zirin it helps. The chikaimi b'nei asavim mirkava. When you put the grass in between, when the fenugreek goes in between the grass, mirkava, it sort of rides on top of it and acts as like a buffer for between the ground and the fenugreek. Okay, I don't know. Need Simon for all this. Yeah. Or maybe there's a difference between the two grasses, whether grass helps fenugreek or doesn't help fenugreek. Kan la'adam, kan la'behema. One is for Adam, one is for Behema. The Kivin de la Behema who the Zara, since they planted the fenugreek for the animal, asabim nami vali, so an animal also needs grass. So if they're growing the fenugreek for animals to eat, so they're going to grow grass next to it. If they're doing it for humans, then they're not going to grow grass next to it. Okay, well, no, you do not. So how are you supposed to know whether the fenugreek is growing for humans, in which case you're not allowed to take it, right? Or for animals? I'm sorry. If you go for a human, you're allowed to take the grass. If it's for an animal, you're not allowed to take the grass. How are you supposed to know? Samara Papa. He says, "Shari mishari." If it's in sections, then it's la'adam. Loi shari, meaning it's just random grass everywhere. Then mishari, loi mishari. But if it's not, I don't know exactly how to type shari mishari. It's obviously the same word. It's not a section. Then lebehema. Then it means lebehema. Meaning, if the field is very masuder, fenugreek. Section
He
by
writes
section.
garden beds.
A garden bed. Oh, okay, right. It's in the like squares or whatever it is. So then it's for humans. If it's just random, then it's for animals. Fine.
Yeah, only plots.
Plot. Oh, plot. Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah. Fourth. I think we're up to the fourth. You're allowed to cut branches in every place except for Grafia Shozais. Pirush Rav Tanchum v'Rabrais. Right? Mishum Zaken Echad, they both said in the name of a Zaken, Bezayis Kibetza. Again, here we go, another poetic, what do you call it? The poetic license? Yeah. By a kizah, well, here you actually need it though. By a zayis, by an olive tree, you have to leave over at least the kibetza from the branch. Bekanim ubekfanim min apekek ulamala, and by reeds and gfanim is vines, grapevines. Then only from the pekek ulamala, only from pekek is a knot, right? Meaning there's like little sections of it, so you have to go with the section. You have to leave at least one section there. I'm looking at it like it's bamboo, right? Bamboo, for those that still use bamboo for their sukkah. Right, there's like little sections. It's like there's little bumps every once in a while. I'm assuming that's
on Empire.
Right, you can go see it on Empire. Yeah, yeah. Right, so that's what I think is the pekek. You have to make sure at least there's one section. Right, so other trees, right? You could take from the uvoy shel ilan. You could take from the fruits of the tree, which doesn't mean the fruits. I don't think there's a heter to take from fruits, meaning you can take from some of the branches, and not from the main part of the tree. You could also take from a new branches that didn't yet make fruits, and you can't take from an old branch that it did make payers. Right? And you could take from the part of the tree that doesn't really see the sun because there it doesn't grow so well. On Tommy Bays now, not from the place where he does see the sun. Shanemar, we meged fu shamish. But that's at the end of Devarim. Right, and we meged from the growth of the sun. Because the
There's
side
no
that
problem with Orla, with Orla, it sounds like with when you say Kadash, isn't there a Shiloh with Orla there? Does Orla only have to do with the Paris?
what do you say?
If you're taking wood from a newer tree, right? So you're not taking the Paris, you're taking this wood. So but if it's Orla, can you allow to take the tree parts from the tree also? Orla's the first 3 years, right?
Orla's the first 3 years, correct?
Right.
I mean, you mean how do you know that it's not Orla? That's what you're asking.
Yeah.
Here.
He has a sign up instead of the no trespassing sign. He has the Argo sign up.
Oh,
Didn't we?
yeah.
Didn't
Yeah, I
we-
didn't think of that. Yeah.
Didn't we have the sugya? How do you tell it's Arla? What did we say? Didn't we have it like a week ago or 2 weeks ago? We said that Bezdin. What was it about Arla? No, nobody remembers. Did I make it up? Arla.
No, we had a Gemara. You have to put a sign up. Taka.
Was it about?
The pottery, the
that's the Rava.
shards. When you
Was
put the
it net-
shards around, you put the shards of
Oh,
pottery
very good.
around.
Yeah, Taka, very good, Avi.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Right, different ways that you mark off your field, but not for Arla, right? We said you don't have to mark. Oh, we did say for Arla, right? Yeah.
The Netzer Revai. Arla and Netzer Revai. Depends
Right,
which
you need it,
direction
right.
they're pointing.
Very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, Taka. So you have to.
So you transplanted a tree, you also have to make sure that you put a
Yeah,
sign.
you gotta, especially in this situation where you're having people come marching through your thing. Yeah.
I mean, to some extent, this would be quite obvious. If the fruit is still on the tree after it's ripe, it's probably Arla.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't take it
True.
anyway. You can't have no. If it's Netzer Revai, the same thing. But it's only after it's harvested you can see that it's it's not Arla. The guy harvested it.
Right. I hear. Okay, very good. Weiter. So if you have a mayan that comes out mitchila, so then the bnei ear can take from it. And you have to pay for it, meaning you have to pay for the water. But less say Allah is not like him. Right, so he's saying you could take somebody else's water, but you have to pay for it. Right? But Allah is not like that. So, which is interesting. I just saw, was talking about, is there still a drought in Eretz Yisrael? Are they starting, or did it rain already? Does anybody know? I was reading about it, and then
It was
Rained a
raining
lot.
last week.
When it rained, yeah,
It rained last week.
and a lot.
So it did rain. Okay, Baruch Hashem. So, anyways, there's extra tefillas you start adding. So somebody, I don't know where I saw this, that the Chazanish held that you don't add the tefillas nowadays because if there's a shortage of rain in Eretz Yisrael, they're just going to go buy the water from Turkey. I don't know. Would they still do that? Meaning the Chazanish was saying that was in the old days when you didn't have the technology to transfer water. So Taka was desperate times if it didn't rain. Otherwise, you go take the water from somebody from another country. I think they said Turkey. And then, so it's not as bad. So you see here, there's this concept of taking somebody's water, but you have to pay for it. But either way, we're saying we paskin that you don't have to pay for it. Fine, weiter. And you can fish in the Yama Shel Tveria. You're not allowed to spread out these nets, and it'll catch a svina. But you are allowed to trap with nets. So I'm not sure. The Gra, you see that Aleph in the Gra, he takes it out. He takes out this line because of the next line in the Gemara. Because the Tanah Bana Bereshina his nu shvatim zem zeh shelo yifres kli of Yavanas Svina. the Shvatim made a Tanai with each other that nobody's gonna put out these nets. But you meaning you won't spread them out like these major spreads with sticks and tree, well, not trees, wood, but you would just to put a localized net that you would be allowed to do. Okay, Tanar Rabbanan, Yoma shel Tveria b'chelkish Naftali Haisen, not Naftali line,
Yeah, I got it.
right?
Sure.
It was in the chelik of Naftali. Cherem b'draima. They were able to take a length of rope on the south side, meaning they took it from the, I don't know which shave it was next to them on the south. The Kaim Hashanemar Yav V'Darim Yerusha, they got the sea and the south. Yeah. Okay. So meaning there was, but they had Naphtali had control of the entire Kinneret. Tanya Reb Shimon Elazar Reimer, Tlushin Shebaharim, anything detached in the mountains, meaning any trees sitting around, the Cheskas Kol Shvatim Hinayim, they're in the Chazaka that they belong to all the Shvatim. Meaning anybody could come take any wood that's cut, because it's considered as if it was there from when they conquered Eretz Yisrael, and it doesn't belong to anybody yet. But those that are attached on the Chazaka for whichever section of that particular shevet it is. And there's no shevet in Klal Yisrael that doesn't have a chela in, meaning in the mountains and in the shvela in the lowlands and over Negev and in the Negev, what we call the Negev, and be'emek. And I'm not sure what the difference is between a shvala and an emek, right? So it seems like everybody, all the shvatim had a chelik. Shenemar, pnu sulachem uvo har hamayri vel kol shchenov. Go, turn and come to the har hamayri and to all its neighbors. Ba'arava, in the Arvas, Bahar, B'shvala, B'negav, U'b'chayf hayam, and on the edge of the ocean. And you say the same thing by the Knani and the Moiri and the Prizi, Shenamar or Kol Shchenov, and to all their neighbors, Alma Shchenov Achihava. You see that the neighbors also had mountains and what do you call it? Har, Shvela, Negev, and Emek. And meaning seems like every area had a bit of each. Okay, on to the next one of the 10. You're allowed to go to the bathroom behind the fence, but even if it was in a fence that was for a field that was full of karkum, what do you call it? Saffron. We only need this din to tell you that it's talking about where you're taking a rock from the fence, right? And you're going to use that rock to clean yourself, and you're allowed to do it, right? Fine. So Amar of Chista, Bafilu b'Shabbos. You're allowed to do it even on Shabbos.
Is the reason because the cover the bris?
No, you have to share.
You're allowed to break. What do you mean? You're allowed to break a guy's fence in order that you should clean yourself.
Yes, exactly. What
you didn't say break his
exactly
fence. You didn't say break his fence. You can ford his fence.
No, he has to put it back afterwards.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, ironstone's muksa.
Yes. So, but he's saying about filu b'Shabbos. That's what he's saying. It's even on Shabbos. Now we got a bigger issue. What? It's not. Isn't it Seiser?
And Boiner, if he puts it back.
What?
And Boiner.
And Boiner, if he puts it back, we'll get to that in a minute.
It's only on Manas. It's only on Manas.
So what? It's still.
Manas livness is the rice.
Correct. But otherwise, it's the Rabbanon. Yeah.
But Makim cover the bris. Maybe we mut.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I think there's a bigger problem.
Yeah, what's that?
How does he know he's taking out a clean stone if somebody used it and put it back?
That there's Gemaras and Shabbos. Where's the Gemaras and Shabbos where how you can tell on a rock whether it was pre-used already? There is a way. There's a way to tell, even if it was washed or something. Yeah.
It's right out of Cheech and Chong. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Mazutra Chasida, Mazutra was a chassid, shakel umahader. He took a stone on Shabbos and he put it back. Right? And then the next day he told his shames zil shirke, go put the what do you call it? Put cement in there, build it back properly. Right? So meaning he was a chassid. So he didn't have to do this. He could have taken the rock. I don't know if he had to put it back. He certainly didn't have to have it go cemented. Right?
Doesn't that really make it sicer? He built it back better. That is mamish sicer.
Could be. Could be. Yeah, I don't know.
He did this on Shabbos?
It says on Shabbos, yeah. It doesn't say, the Gemara doesn't say. One of the first says. Right? It sounds like if he cemented it after Shabbos, that means he took it out without the cement on Shabbos. Right?
Yeah. Who says that he put the cement on Shabbos?
He didn't put the cement on Shabbos. He put the cement after Shabbos.
Right, okay.
Right, that's Lamach. But that means that he knocked off the cement on Shabbos. He didn't just take a rock. Right?
No, maybe it was loose.
Then why would he have to cement it back?
Because
He's only cementing it back because that's the way he took it.
You're assuming that.
That's my assumption. Yes, it could be I'm wrong.
Maybe that's why he's allowed to take it, because it's not cemented.
What?
Maybe that's why he's allowed to take it, because it's not cemented. Maybe that's why he's allowed to take it to Chatchila.
Why?
Because it wasn't cemented; it was just sitting on the wall.
But then why is he? But then why is he cementing it back?
Because he wants to fix it. He's a chassid.
He's a chassid.
He's a chassid. He wants to put it back the way it should be put back.
He brings in the footnote here from Rashi. Dibra Maschil Sreka, Sarke, whatever.
Yeah, Shirke, yeah.
We can infer that the wayfarer may remove a stone even if it was cemented into the wall on Shabbos.
Yeah,
Where's that? It doesn't say on Shabbos.
No,
that's what the Rashi said. That's what the footnote.
No, Rashi is saying. Rashi says Tchiyu betit v'chavreu yafa, and he attached it very well. That's going on what he did on Sunday. So they're learning that the Art Scroll is learning. I'm assuming that the pshat, if he did that on Sunday, so that means that when he took it on Shabbos, he removed the tit.
You're assuming that, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yes, I'm assuming that. That's the Art Scroll's assuming it too. I don't mind.
Art Scroll doesn't say that. Art Scroll says Mazucha acted piously in ordering the permanent repair of the wall. However, he's not legally required to do so.
Yes, but repair means back to what it was. So it was cemented in. He removed the cement, and then he told the Shabbos to put it back, even though he wasn't obligated to put it back the way it was.
Repair something doesn't mean that it was cemented. It just means, all right, whatever.
That's the definition of repair. Put it back to what it was again. But besides that, it shows how spoiled we are. We complain when the toilet paper rips improperly. He had to knock down a wall and put it back together again.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, that's what I thought, that you can almost destroy a wall. I mean, I was worried about Shabbos, and what about Stam destroying the guy's wall? Right? The guys, imagine do that nowadays. The guy comes over to your house, pulls out a brick, and says, "I'm sorry, I need to clean myself after the bathroom." Takana from Yeshua. Right? It's a takana from Yeshua. Finished. Right? Nothing you can say. You couldn't buy land in Eretz Yisrael unless you agreed to these things. Or buy land or have land, whatever. Anyways, when you're allowed to walk on these optional paths. So I'm gonna papa v'hai done, and ours Afilu tal kashila, even dew is difficult for it, and therefore in our land, you're not allowed to walk even before the second rain. I was saying in Eretz Yisrael, after the second rain, you can't walk there because it's going to ruin. So Rapapa is saying by us, which l'chara means in Bavel, right? I'm assuming. He says even do, so then you're not allowed to. So what do you see from that, David? That these takanas applied out. So we're going to see more again in the next Gemara. But you see that these takanas applied everywhere, not just in Eretz Yisrael.
I mean, L'chayra, Yeshua would have been masaking them for Gad, Reuven, and Chatzi Menashe.
That's true, but I'm saying this is but not Bavel.
Yeah, but it's Chutz La'aretz.
Okay, but I can see that has a little bit of a different din. But yeah, okay. So let's see weiter. Musakin, let's see that you say this adrachim, so that you can allow to walk around to the sides of the streets because of the nails literally in the streets, which is really equivalent of potholes. Right? So Shmuel and Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel and Rabbi Yehuda were walking in the way. And Shmuel went onto the sides of the street. Rabbi Yehuda, Tanayin shehisna Yeshua afilu b'Babel. Are these Tanayim that Yeshua made, the 10 Tanayim that Yeshua made, do you have them even in Babel? Amalei, he said, Shani Yomer afilu b'chutz la'aretz. He says, yeah, I believe that Yeshua did that even in Chutz La'aretz. Right? So you see beferish in this Gemara that at least Rabbi Yehuda held that these takanas were in Chutz La'aretz too. Now let's just finish to the two dots and then we'll discuss it. They were going in the way. And they wanted to the sides of the way. So Rabbi Yehuda ben Kanusia was walking in front of them. So Rabbi said to Rabbi, who's this guy that's looking like a big man in front of us? Meaning, who is this fellow who's walking and avoiding walking on the people's private property, even though we're allowed to do it? Meaning, so who's he to make himself so chashuv? Shema Rabbi Yehuda ben Kanusia Talmidi. Who it's? I think maybe it's Hashem. I'm sorry, not Shema. Shema Rabbi Yehuda ben Kanusia Talmidi. Maybe it's my Talmud. Rabbi Yehuda ben Kanusia. V'chol ma'aseh l'shem shemayim, and whatever he does, he's legit. He's l'shem shemayim. Kimatu l'gabei Chazi. When they got to him, they saw that it was him. Amar lei ilav Yehuda ben Kanusia. If it wouldn't be you, Yehuda ben Kanusia. The Kanus, I'm sorry, Xartinu l'shakach the gizur the parzla. We made a gezerah. We would have split your how do you call it? Your shaik, your thigh. Well, should we do thigh or should we say thigh or what's the other one?
Calf.
Calf. Should we say calf or thigh? That gets into whether women have to cover their calf or their thigh. Okay, the gizra the parzla with a piece of metal. Right, meaning Rashi says they would have put him into chayra. Now, there's an interesting thing here. There's an interesting Ramah because Lamaisa, you see from this Gemara that that this was clearly a takana in Chutz La'aretz. Right. So what happened to this din? I mean, we don't keep this. At least as far as I know, we don't keep it.
It was only to Shmuel, no, it wasn't? Oh, that wasn't that just Shmuel?
It was Rabbi Yehuda.
Do they keep this in Eretz Yisrael now?
They don't keep it in Eretz Yisrael now either, I don't think. You're right. That's a good point.
Wait, weren't Rabbi and Reb Chia from Eretz Yisrael?
What?
Rabbi was definitely from Eretz Yisrael. Reb Chia was also one of the Amiran from Eretz Yisrael. The first Amir from Eretz Yisrael was Reb Chia.
Right. I know, I hear. Anyways, I'm looking for the Rambam, not the Rambam. The Tur is very interesting. The Tur is a Ramah. Where is it? Just want to get the Lashon. Why can't I find it now? I thought I had it.
was the Shmuel. It
Yes.
was Yehuda said to it was Shmuel. Yehuda said to him, "This what Tanaim shehisn be Yeshua feel bebavel." So Amalei. So the Shmuel answered back, "Shani Oime, I feel bechutz laretz."
Right, right. So here's the thing. There's Lashon and Shulchan Aruch. I'm reading Shulchan Aruch Chashim Mishpat, Reish Ayin Daled or Ayin Reish Daled. So there it says this. So the Torah brings this, and other pais can bring it, but the Shulchan Aruch does not bring it. The Ramah brings it. The Ramah says, "Asara Tanayim Hisni Yeshua Be'eretz v'Kula Noyagas Af B'Chutz La'aretz v'Kason HaRambam Perakei DeHilchus Niske Mammon V'Atur V'Lo Yadati Lo Hashmitan HaMechaber Hazeh." I have no idea why the Shulchan Aruch left out these halachas. Everybody, I don't think everybody brings it, but if the Rambam brings it and the Torah brings it, so then the Shulchan Aruch just left it out. He says, "V'Ulai Mishum She'enon Shchichin." Maybe because it's not common. Why? Sharubam Enon Rak B'Makom Sheyesh Yisrael Sadas Akram. And most of these rules can only be where it's all Yidden together. It's not common in Golos to have somebody living next to each other with fields and all these type of things. Okay, so you should look inside, he says. So basically, it sounds like the Ramah is saying that really we do have to keep these halachas just because of the Golos. So we're so mixed in with Goyish property and stuff like that. Some Mela, so we don't have to keep it. Right? But the Rambam brings it, the Torah brings it. So I mean that's clearly, David, why it fell out of favor, this thing. Right? Okay, whatever. It's interesting. If the Mechaber doesn't bring it, so does that mean that we don't paskin that way? Even though all the Rishonim, again, I keep saying all the Rishonim, I didn't check all the Rishonim. Many Rishonim hold that you do have to keep these halachas. I don't know. I'm saying if I go into my friend's field and I go take some, some grass, can I tine it to him? This is the Tanai from Yeshua. Finished. Can I do that? I don't see why not.
What about Dina de Malchus Dina?
Dina de Malchus Dina does not trump halacha. Meaning, if you have two things, Dina de Malchus Dina against halacha, halacha wins. Right? Dina de Malchus Dina is if they make rules on top of what halacha is, then you have to keep it. Okay, whatever. I'm not sure. Fine. Next one, right? Tanarabanan. Haraya chaveiroi. I'm sorry. No, Hataya. What up to? Yeah, Hataya ben Akronim. Mefasik v'yer, mefasik v'oilos. So somebody who's lost inside the vineyards, so he can cut and go down or cut and go up. Meaning he could just start chopping things down in order to leave. Tanarabanan. Haraya chaveiroi Hataya ben Akronim. If you see your friend stuck, so you're allowed to chop through the vineyard in order to get him on his way. And a guy is also lost in the kramim. He cuts up and he cuts down until he gets to a city and to a
That's how he
derech.
got in the first place?
I don't know. I have no
He had
idea.
permission and he got lost. This one. He
No.
had permission to go in the first
Who
place.
says? We said maybe he was walking in the roads that we had permission that we said before. What was the other one or the other ones?
So then he had permission.
Maybe.
But if he didn't have permission, he broke.
I don't know. My v'chein. So what does it mean v'chein? Right? Meaning first it says if you see your friend stuck, you can get him out. And then it says, and if you're
he's
stuck.
walking in a state park and he got lost. No.
I mean, they're saying that it's in a private guy's vineyard. How do you get into that guy's vineyard? Right?
So he was eating grapes. He was eating raisins, and he got lost. Wasn't thinking about raisins. He could steal raisins. He couldn't steal, and he got lost. Give the guy a break.
Here. I don't know, whatever the scenario is. So my v'chein, ma'od the same chaverei hu the yada lehecha masalik. Maybe your friend knows where he's going, because if you're not lost, and you see your friend lost, so you see where he's going, so you can maybe limit the damage, the nifsag. Then you're allowed to do it. But him, he's totally lost. He's stuck in a vineyard. He has no idea what's coming and going. He can't do it. So Nahadre Be Mitzri. So what he'll have to do in this part again, I don't understand this. He'll go back to the walkway. Meaning he can't take a shortcut through there. He would be required to go back to the walkway. And he shouldn't cut through. Kamash Malon, that he's allowed to cut through. Well, I don't know. Does anybody have any idea what this means? If there's a walkway, so then he's not lost. Unless there's somebody walking.
Someone who sees someone has a direct line of view. He knows exactly where he's going. He'll cut down a limited number of branches. Someone who has no idea where he is, he's just going to be flailing around forever. He'll cut down half the vineyard. So maybe he wouldn't be allowed to do that, to just follow a line to whichever border he's going to find, and then walk his entire way around the field until he gets where he wants to go.
We see this not talking about a couple little plantings here and there. This must be a giant, a huge field. Otherwise, the person stands up, he can see pretty far. But imagine they had such huge vineyards that after a little while, you lost your way, and everything looks the same. Every way you turn, it's grapes.
Yeah,
There's no
face nicht. Yeah,
It's like those corn mazes.
that's exactly what I was thinking about. The corn mazes. I was not much thinking about that, but without the maze part. Meaning, or what are you saying, Avi? Is what you're saying is that if you're in a corn maze and you decide that you're lost, so you could just hack right through. You don't have to try and retrace your steps. Is that what it's saying?
That's why it's not successful in Eretz Yisrael.
Oh,
Try
corn
and do
maze.
that on a farm here in America. It's not going to work out so well.
I hear. I don't know. I wasn't sure exactly what was going on here. But anyways, so the Gemara says, Hadaraisa. But it's a mitzvah daraisa. Why do you need that Yeshua can say that you try and get the guy to get out of there? It's a mitzvah daraisa. Tanya hashavas gufa minayin. How do you know that you have to return somebody's body? Right? Meaning if somebody's lost, so how do you know that you have to do a hashavas aveda? Tamalomer v'hashivaisai. V'hashivaisai. Right? And you have to return him. So what do you need Yeshua for? So when I answer deraisa with the kai bei mitzri, deraisa is when he's near the corner of the field, he's near the edges of the field. Also, who talking, and then that, so there you have to try and get him out, and then comes along Yeshua, the mafasik v'yared, that he says that you can cut on your way up, cut on your way down, meaning you could even cut your way out of there. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what's going on there. Fine. Well, Meis mitzvah kana mekayim, a Meis mitzvah is kind of his place. If you find a mace put in the middle of the street, so what do? You can't bury him right there in the middle of the street. So you move the mace either over to the right or to the left. Sadeh bur v'sadeh nir. If it's a sadeh bur, which is it's a field that nobody's using anymore, and a sadeh nir is already a plowed field, so you don't want to put him in there. So then you can put him into the field that's no longer being used, because that's not going to negatively affect anybody. Sadeh nir v'sadeh zera. If you have a choice between a planted field and a field that's just plowed, you put him to the sadeh nir. How you stay in boros if they're both empty, meaning not empty, they're both, I guess empty. Stay in niros, or they're both planted, plowed. Stay in zroyos, or they're both already planted. And then you can move them to wherever you want. Whatever it is, you see that you're allowed to move the mace. You don't have to bury the mace exactly where it is. Some are Bibi.
It's the road. You bury him where you want. You see, you bury him
But you say but you see, you have choices. If the field, let's say he died in a field of.
Once you move it in here,
Oh, so that's Gemara's answer. Very good. Samar Abibi, right? The mutal ala meitza. That's talking about where it was on the street. When we say meitza is the roads. Since you're already moving him, then you can move him wherever you want, right? But if you don't have to move him, so you got to bury him right then and there, right? I don't think we paskin like this anymore either. Nowadays we move them now that we have. First of all, we're not in control. Again, since we're not in control, so you don't bury the mace over there. You bring the mace to a cemetery, and it's a mace mitzvah, right? In New York, we have it in Staten Island, right? What's it called? There's a cemetery in Staten Island for the homeless and all that.
Hebrew Free Burial Society.
There you go. Very good. Right. The Hebrew Free Burial Society has in Staten Island. Right. That's what we do. You don't bury, right?
Another one. The big business today, burying people.
But I don't know if they're homeless and they're not paying, so I don't know where the business is coming from.
But that's a different business.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so let's do a little bit more. So Amri Asara Hani Chatzrei Havyan. You're saying there were 10 if you count, which again I kept losing count, but there's 11. There's not 10, there's 11 here. So what are we saying? So Mahalchin B'Shvili Rishus Shloima Amra. Walking in the Shvili Rishus, that was made up by Shloima, not by Yeshua. If a guy's payros are finished in his field, meaning he already plowed and he already not plowed, he already harvested, and he still doesn't let people walk in his field. What are people going to say about him? What hana does he have that he doesn't let us in his field? I'm sorry, what are the brias gonna damage him? Right? Why is this guy being such a jerk and not letting anybody in the field? He's not doing anything with it. Allah v'kasav aimer, which is very interesting. The pasuk says on him, "Be yois toiv al tikrira." When you can be good, don't be called bad. There's only one problem. There is no brach. There's no pasuk. There's no pasuk be yois toiv al tikrira. Right? So the Gemara asks
made up the phrase.
It's interesting, right? Because the Gemara immediately asks it. It doesn't say that pasuk. So what is the lashon of Aimer? The Gemara says in Ksiv Ki Agavna. It's not written exactly like that, but it's written similar like that. It says Al Timna Toiv Mi Balav. Don't hold back good from the owners. Bi Yos Lakel Yodcha Lasis. When you have Lakel, I'm not sure what Lakel has to do with this. I think what it means that Hashem,
you have the process. It's on your hand.
Power is in your hand.
Yeah,
I'm saying with Kel here doesn't mean Hashem. That Hashem gave it to you. I was thinking the Taicha, maybe Hashem gave you the power, so share it. Right? I don't know. That's what I was thinking, but I don't know if that's. But you're saying Lakel here means power. Yeah. Okay. We'll stop over here. Tomorrow's obstacle short, so we can finish this tomorrow. We'll do Tillim. I appreciate the Olam tuning in a little early.
It's red.